Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where history has been made here at the World Championship. We're entering overtime with Group D deadlocked in a four-way tie, and it all comes down to a single elimination bracket where if you beat your opponent, your first opponent that is, you are moving on to the quarterfinals. These two teams right behind us here on the screen, those are the ones taking to the stage for the first matchup of this three-match tiebreaker bracket.
It's just such an incredible amount of pressure because your entire year comes down to one single game. You win, it's euphoric. You lose, you feel like everything was for no reason at all. It's really going to be about who can rise to the pressure.
It's the emotional roller coaster of League of Legends. One team will come out happy, one team will come out sad. I mean, it's going to be so drastic on both ends of the scales, but last time we saw these two teams face up against each other earlier today, Gen.G had the gold lead, but the game was just so even up until that 1 point where TL found the clutch engage, got ruler, and won the game.
I think for me, that's the incredible thing about this bracket, is that it is the two matchups that had to first go the way of Mad Lions and Team Liquid to even get to this point, and so now they get the rematches. But again, it's what did each of these teams take away from those most recent games? What did they learn? Obviously, we've talked a little bit about the Mad versus LNG matchup, and we'll get to that one as soon as this first one takes place. But I think TL versus Gen.G, you heard in the interview right there, a lot of people still favoring Gen.G when it comes to this matchup.
Yeah, I think what was working for TL was their objective control, right? Dragon setup was the biggest key for them, right? I think that the stability of Santorin on these comfort picks has been a real big plus for them on Trundle Lee Sin. He looks a lot more comfortable than he did on Talon. So comfort jungle picks so he can make early plays and look for early objectives. Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see what the actual read is from Gen.G because they went with a more atypical draft. Yone mid is definitely not one of the more meta picks. You know, if we see BDD on just one of the more control mages, if he's playing his Azir, if he's playing his comfort, then yeah, I can see why people are favoring them because they have been very strong. And the LCK teams in general have just been dominant in the second round robin.
Yeah, side selection also swaps from when we last saw them play, right? It was TL on blue side picking up that early Lee Sin. They'll be red side this time around. And so I've got some questions. What's in store? What do they have planned?
Well, you could look at AD, you could look at MF. We saw that kind of being targeted in the last game. You can look at TF again, comfort jungle picks, banning them out. There's a lot of ideas they can look into draft, but this game is just so hyped to me because Gen.G, the only time they got knocked out of groups was 2018. Who was in that group?
Oh my goodness.
Cloud9, and they got out of the group. And TL's never made it out of groups. This is the fourth chance to make it happen. TL fourth, baby.
Oh, it always
they
comes
need their
back to that.
In their fourth world.
Yep.
It's their
fourth game of the day. They got here playing Jin, everything. It all lines up, but I want to know from each of you, do they do it? Does TL have enough in the tank to pull one more game out and book a trip to the quarterfinals?
I know exactly what Azael's going to say.
Yeah, we already know.
And I'm going to say Gen.G is going to do it just to have the split. I think what Humanoid said was correct.
Wow.
Gen.G are
we'll be watching
the
game
better
in
team,
separate rooms.
but TL have the clutch factor, so I will slightly favor Gen.G.
All right, and
I mean, I think TL's kind of on a roll today. I think they've played really good League of Legends today. I do think that they've maybe looked a little bit better today than Gen.G, so I think that's maybe working in their favor.
I got
eyes on Santorin and Jensen.
Jensen, that's for me the big call out right there. We'll see if TL can do it. We didn't come all this way for it all just to go on mix in the end. For our first, or rather for the first of our final group stage games, let's send it right back over to Vedius, Kobe, and Freak. Boys, enjoy.
Oh, it's going to be spicy.
We will enjoy for as long as we can. I have one thing to say, though. Every LCS team has ended their group stage with 3 wins. Cloud9 went 2-4 and won a tiebreaker. 100 Thieves went 3-3. Team Liquid already have their 3 wins. Listen, I need to cast a curse this Gen.G win so badly.
I'm not worried.
And it works out in the end. Every LCK team has made it out of groups. Gen.G would be the 4th of 4. They'd love to keep that one going, but they are the most recent LCK team to fall. 3 years ago, it was them who dropped to Jensen in a group that involved some European upstarts. So maybe it happens here again. We're into the draft. Gen.G picked themselves the blue side, and it's LeBlanc, Camille off the table. Lucian, Aphelios dropped as well.
Okay, so the Aphelios ban, pretty interesting because remember that Yuumi is still up and the MF is up as well. So with the Aurelia taken off the board, I'm curious as to what TL actually choose to remove. Lee Sin still up and available as well. You know that Clid is more than happy to first pick it. Will very likely trade it for the Misfortune as well.
Yeah, I would actually rather prioritize bottom than jungle in this draft. Meanwhile, Gen.G, the multiple bans here towards Jensen look like they want to open up the comfort picks for BDD, for the Azir, for the Syndra style champions. Probably not another melee for him.
I want to correct myself very quickly. Actually, Team Liquid had the faster win time, so they are the ones who chose. They chose red side, so where this draft pans out to be, it's Team Liquid who wanted to pilot it from red.
So they potentially want to give counter pick over towards Alphari. He was able to get counter pick in the last time that they met up. But also that Syndra was so important for Jensen and his impact on it. Perhaps they actually want to save that counter pick for the mid lane. We'll have to wait and see. For now that they have given over the Yuumi, they're immediately going to lock in the Rell.
Yeah, the biggest question when you give over the Yuumi is, are you going to try and also pick an enchanter like Lulu and take exhaust for the lane, or are you going to try and kill? They're immediately throwing down, kill lane, bottom lane, so we have to see a follow-up AD carry like Tristana. There you go. You go Halo Blades on Tristana. You focus bottom side with a ganking jungler, kill lane right there for tactical and CoreJJ.
And it means they need to track Clid. If you know where the jungler is, you can play Malphite down to the bottom lane. Rocket Jump will hit confirm. The stun out of Rell will confirm for knockup out of the W, and you can go full to dead there. Graves picked up as a flex. We expect mostly top lane, and it means Rascal could be very safe up there.
And the big reason you're picking the Graves super early on for blind, for top side, for Rascal, is because you're saying, goodbye, sir. We are going to have to protect bottom side. We know Team Liquid are going to spend resources on their Tristana Rell kill lane, so we want to make sure that kill doesn't come through, because if you get Misfortune Yuumi through the early stages of the game without a successful conversion for the Tristana Rell, then it is going to be a very long uphill battle.
So, I'm just going to throw it out there now. Have either of you ever seen Alphari's Malphite before?
Yes. They won. They won. Yeah.
Yeah, so this game is looking like a pretty juicy Malphite game, potentially, depending on how the rest of the draft rounds out.
There's your ganking jungler.
So Santorin will have something that he can have a bit of agency on. Something that he has found a lot of success on today is that Trundle and being able to find a lot of early ganks. Now, I imagine Team Liquid will actually look to ban away other junglers, things like the Viego, maybe even Talon Yuumi. We know how devastating that combo in particular can be. But instead, he's actually going to choose to remove the Trundle himself, which also makes sense.
Yeah, because Trundle is very good into Zhao. Trundle can go with the red smite, and you can actually 1v1 a lot of situations, but also the pillar is just insanely good for Xin, because Xin, if there's no minions or something around to W2, you can't get out. Pillar can oftentimes force your ultimate, force big cooldown, so Trundle's very annoying to deal with for him. Plus, the angle of a possible tank on top side is still kind of looming around and would be kind of a double pick there, but you know, I do always watch out for possible Yuumi attachments. You know, assassin, high mobility, high damage champions on the side of Gen.G.
Ooh, Olaf removed as well. So these early game
Great
strong champions that can duel against the Zhao have largely been removed. Viego is still a possibility, but early on you would definitely give the advantage over towards the Zhao, whereas Gen.G is saying, you know what, we do not want Jensen to have the ability to roam around the map and have impact early, so it likely will be a control mage match at mid. I feel like Gen.G is looking at that Azir pick right now, and if TL want to dissuade him away from that, exactly, go for an early Syndra.
It was good last time, and he's locked it in again. Had a game-winning pick on Ruler, and it allowed them control, and the wins keep stacking. We're 11 games in, 10-1 Syndra at Worlds.
I do want to emphasize how difficult of a pick that is to make, though. Syndra, stun, long range versus MF, who has already strut mobility, plus if the Yuumi's on her, extra speed, so those don't come around every day. The repeat will be difficult. It's much more reliable to try and control the vision on brush and force them to face check. Then you get a better percentage chance. But with the two jungle bans here, it looks like it will be the Jarvan for Clid and BDD Zoe.
Yeah,
the one that formed the name of the icon treatment by multiple solo kills on him, has tremendous pick potential towards the mid stages.
We talked about the possibility of an engaged tank top in Malphite. Sion could fulfill a very similar role, but also what Alphari is known for is his incredible laning phase and his ability to be a carry for Team Liquid, and they will trust him with that carry responsibility.
And this is one of the few matchups into Graves that can balance your lane phase here. You can play very aggressively as the Jayce into Graves, and then you're double checking as Tarzan, which side of the map is he actually going to? It's no longer such a clear pathway for the Xin. The Xin can actually gank all three lanes, so you by affording multiple matchups here on the side of Team Liquid that are volatile, you make your opponents guess which one you're actually going to attack.
So I will say Team Liquid, a very aggressive comp. They have a very strong mid jungle. They have a strong top side of the map that they can look to play through if they want to, but you look at this Tristana Rell, a heavy all-in duo bot lane that they can also look to leverage. There's a lot of team fight power and pretty solid scaling on the side of Gen.G, something that they are very well known for domestically. Scaling into the late game, executing upon fights better than their opposition. Team Liquid, a lot of responsibility will fall on them in the early game to find some advantages and potentially shut down BDD.
Especially with this Yuumi on the side of Gen.G. Scales insanely well, becomes an absolute monster, difficult to deal with. Eyes will again be on the bottom lane. CoreJJ versus Ruler once again. This one, the old lane partners, the world champions against each other for life and death at Worlds in 2021.
The first time they meet since that World Championship, they went their separate ways and now they do battle. One of these teams is going home in the span of about 45 minutes. One of them waits to fight for first place in the group, and a quarter final would already have been secured in doing that. Onto the Rift we go. Harass go to the top side. Gen.G simply spreading out. Team Liquid forcing more towards the middle bottom side, maybe for a deep ward.
And look how defensive they've gone with their summoner spells for bottom side because they are so scared of the all-in. Tactical and CoreJJ, so the extra shield here from the barrier on top of heal exhaust.
No cleanse, though. If you thought Tactical was going exhaust himself, the Ruler would just be hitting barrier and hoping it was enough to limp away, but you're right. Barrier heal exhaust is a lot of defense. It won't be too tough for them to survive it. Deep ward at the end of the recall. Not gonna go for it just yet. There we go, okay. It is still Jarvan putting down the ward. And it's gonna be able to track Santorin more often than not. Does have a sweeper, will be able to kill the ward as he finishes the red buff.
And it does look like that Santorin is going to be pathing towards the bot side of the map, so that kill lane that Team Liquid have drafted for themselves. We did talk about how you kind of expect Team Liquid to play towards the side of the lane, whereas with this Jayce pick, of course, the champion does scale very, very well. But he's likely going to be trying to nullify the top lane matchup, and it seems that Clid is trying to match by heading towards the bot side of the map himself. And
actually, a little difference here. Rascal is actually hitting for Clid, so he can speed up the Jarvan's pathway towards bottom side to protect. Meanwhile, Alphari actually not hitting red buff at all for Santorin there, so it'll be a much later finish on red buff. You see, already Clid is doing Gromp. He's got the lead in the jungle clear. Santorin only just now finally finishing up the red. Also, the smite early there from Clid, used as well to finish it up. Santorin now can cross down towards bottom side. The wards in the river, Team Liquid know, you can see the deep ward on red, that it is for sure a topside start for Graves, or for Jarvan, and you can expect the transition over here towards bottom scuttle.
So look at this from CoreJJ. He has both of his stacks from his passive. He will get level 2 off of this next minion.
And it's Gen.G playing the back.
Yeah, respect it.
Bit of poke, a little bit of money earned. There's the 2, and hoping they can deny any gold or XP.
Santorin is doing the red Raptors Gromp. Super fast level 3 for Xin to be able to get down there. Get the extra ward, get supreme coverage over the Scuttle Crab, allow them to keep pushing.
We know Jarvan's bottom side, Santorin of course here as well. Yes, level 3 gain, but Clid practically up an entire camp as this red buff falls. Does not have a sweeper. There's not an easy way to get to bottom without being spotted.
You know, the extra bit of damage on the pull from Graves, still having a lasting effect, but should be fine timing for Santorin to get to the scuttle anyway. Meanwhile, mid lane push looks like it is definitely going in the favor of BDD.
Almost getting the knockback, but Tactical down quite low. 200 health, has to rock jump away, but now CoreJJ, could he be chased? Not quite. Well played though, good disengage. Gen.G stays safe. The fight for bottom scuttle seems impossible for Team Liquid. Clid.
BDD has first roam from mid.
Exactly. He's got a mid laner, so this is going to be his. Smite is up for both. Early Smite, it allows Santorin the chance, but it's too big of a risk. He's not going to go for it.
Yeah.
Way too big of a risk. BDD being in the river, utilizing his priority extremely well, means that Clid can actually get the double scuttle. Graves will also identify that the top side scuttle is up. Prime and ready for Clid to take it, which is already going to give a pretty significant jungle advantage in the early game in favor of Gen.G.
Yeah, a lot of help provided by Gen.G as a team to secure this jungle advantage, and even getting first over to Raptor Ward here to see the cross.
Okay, yeah, not going to go for an actual fight. I thought maybe he and BDD were going to sit there. Santorin sees, okay, he did go for the deep ward, get rid of that. But as you mentioned, double scuttle seems very likely.
Yeah, as soon as you see the flag in the ground, got to know there's something left behind.
Burns his third smite, takes off the shell. It is faster to smite early for Jarvan, because obviously there'll be EQ as a knock-up. You'll lose the damage as they'll hit the shell, then you knock up and break the shield. So this is the fast way to do it. No problem there. Clid is up an entire jungle camp. CoreJJ wants to go towards mid. BDD has flash.
This is a counter gank. They know that CoreJJ is here, so BDD gonna bait him in.
Some damage. They're gonna find the first stun though. BDD gonna flash towards safety. Gonna find himself a Drowsy, and here comes Clid. Is it enough damage? They want to kill CoreJJ. He's got an ignite, he's got a flash, burns it, gets a heal, mounts away. The flash follow is in turret range. Clid down to 300 health. Santorin's on the way. Life is here for the shield. The flash follow, but the exhaust makes it happen. Santorin flash did not find a kill. Alphari now in a battle with Rascal. Flashes up for the Graves. Alphari flash Q's not gonna land. Rascal's safe.
Information is everything in this game, and Gen.G use it to perfection. The ward here in the river sees CoreJJ. That means bottom lanes know that they can fight. BDD baits them in. Everybody collapses. This was all into BDD's trap. Well played.
And great patience from BDD as well. Notice he'll land the sleep, and then he's going to wait for Clid to get in range. Once the knockup comes through, then he knows that the damage can follow up as well. And CoreJJ does everything that he can to buy himself time to stay alive. And once Clid flashes here, you think that he is as good as dead, but it's the arrival of Yuumi that actually stops the successful follow-up from Santorin, and Gen.G walk away with first blood with no trade back.
Sweeper cooldowns are so critical in the early stages. From the art of war, Sun Tzu,
Yeah.
all warfare is based on deception, and BDD is a master.
I was convinced you were going to say sweepers.
Yeah,
I was like, wow.
Now I'm gonna go with the actual quote.
Well, there is a bit of a jungle advantage right now for Clid. A lot of that does come from the early camps he was able to secure, and still many camps up for him available, along with the first blood that he grabbed for himself. So only a slight advantage for now in favor of Gen.G. Alphari doing very well in the top lane 1v1, forcing Rascal's flash out, has the level advantage, and right now is trying to zone him away from farm.
Big damage here as well, putting a half HP, but Rascal, of course, has his own ulti, so this trade is not going to look as badly as it might. Burns it here, but Alphari up in health. Vamp Scepter and 2 Biscuits going to make Rascal okay, but low. Life, Clid, they're going to spot Santorin. Rell on the way as well. Control wards and a Scuttle Crab will finally, for the first time this game, I believe, go to Team Liquid.
BDD doing a great job of just maintaining mid-prio. He keeps the wave constantly pushed in, and Clid is always there to offer support. The mid-jungle working very effectively together for the side of Gen.G. But you'll notice that the gold has gone back to being dead even. The bot lane has the push. No TPs for either top laner.
And Clid's smite is actually already upgraded, so it's 900 versus 450. This is, if he's not zoned out, a 3v, but they're gonna go for the fight. The dunk comes in, the kill, and can Yuumi make it out? That's a knockback, but it does not interrupt the Yuumi in time. She had already flown over to BDD Zoe, but TL's on the board.
And guess where that money went? It went right into the pockets of Jensen. Once again, the one who successfully found the stun, who secured the win last time around. Some money into Syndra's pockets is exactly where they want it. He also had the early Dark Seal, so that is 2 stacks on the Dark Steel for him. Here's another look, the all-in. Jensen stun lands, Santorin's W lands at the exact same time, and the all-in from Tristana finds it. As you said, the escape, no problem for the rest of the members of Gen.G, but that is much needed money on the side of Team Liquid.
And it's just a great utilization of the level advantage that Santorin has, because as you rightly identified, that there was a smite difference between the two junglers. But Santorin was like, I'm level 6, Clid doesn't have flash, we know he doesn't have flash, and Life also doesn't have exhaust, so let's commit to this fight when we know we are stronger. And it was a good decision there from Team Liquid. They now find themselves with a ever so slight gold lead, and the Drake is still alive.
Here's the biggest difference when you have a Yuumi, a lot less frequent roams. CoreJJ up on top side roaming, you see Yuumi in place on Misfortune.
Wants to go in for some damage, a bit more, and now a Hex Flash over the wall. They could look for a tower dive off of Rell leading the charge,
Hex
and Santorin
Flash.
following in. That's what I meant to say, and we are in. There's the dive into the turret, no way out for Rascal. A TP, a bit more than was needed, but it will mean the wave is cleared.
TL continue to execute upon a play that they have repeatedly utilized throughout the day, which is setting up the stacked wave into top lane and committing the members to getting the kill. The 4-man Tithe has been flawless for Team Liquid throughout the day, and now they're getting themselves a substantial early game gold lead.
There is one thing traded back. Obviously, top lane going well, but bot is being left alone. So that is going to be farm not gained, and turret plates farmed by Ruler.
Thing is, Alphari is doing the same on the top side turret by himself, so he works off by hand just as many turret plates as the bottom side is getting. Yuumi now gets off to try and help with those turret plates, but they don't overcommit the resources there. You like the allocation from Team Liquid, just leaving Santorin to finish that off, while Alphari does everything himself because, again, coming back to the Jayce pick, very big into the Graves. When you know where opponent jungler is, he's able to get so much.
And now I like what Gen.G is doing in response because they recognize, hey, you know what? There's an exposed bot side of the map because Team Liquid is doing Herald, so let's just steal away all their jungle camps. Let's take away as much as possible, and this will give Rascal the opportunity to actually take away the topside jungle camps, so Santorin can't actually steal anything away. The good news for TL, of course, is that they get themselves the first tower of the game. They will get themselves all of those plates, and Clid cannot overstay in the bot side of the map to be able to trade back, which means that TL now find themselves with a 2k gold lead 10 minutes in.
And unlike the previous one where Gen.G had the gold lead but TL got the dragons, they are not going for the Drake stacking on the Gen.G side or even taking one away, so TL can come back to the bottom side and push towards a reasonably early dragon.
Funnily enough, since Cloud Drake actually does a significant amount more damage than the other Drakes because of the attack speed on it, it is the most risky first dragon to have in a game for those cross-map trades because it is so much more punishing than all of the other dragons.
Yeah, low health bar can make you get picked off by a Syndra ulti, so indeed, no one's going to make the play. Technically, every dragon has their own unique benefit, but Infernal's the easiest to kill because it's the easiest one to play around. It has more splash damage. Yeah, well, don't group up. It's not hard. Like, it's just the counterplay is so free that no one actually cares about Infernal's strength.
Attack speed and current health, definitely a good combination there. Sometimes, yeah, Ocean Slow can kind of get caught out, but bottom side of the map here, kind of set around one more time for Ruler. I have to say Tactical has done a very good job buying plenty of time for CoreJJ to make use of the roams, and it's certainly affected the top side of the map, but now that they've been able to reset,
3v3. They don't know Clid's here just yet, though, so TL might have gone too aggressive, really tried to bait it, you see, sticking around like, hey, come on, I'm juicy. CoreJJ, do you want to find this?
Ooh, good trade there from Ruler.
Yeah.
Already going to chunk out the Team Liquid bot lane. Important to note as well, CoreJJ only level 5, no ultimate at his disposal, and all of the summoner spells are back up for Gen.G. So once again, BDD pushes in the mid wave, but let's see what Alphari does. He has the top wave fully stacked in, he has the TP at his disposal as well, and could look to join the fight at any point.
and he has Eclipse. He is the only mythic in the entire game because of all the money that was funneled into him with these top turret plates, top tower going down, and the extra CS. So the teleport discrepancy in power on arrival.
And every X Factor is known, right? We saw Clid and Life take down a ward in the bottom river. They know where the pressure is. No one could possibly go to push Alphari, so he's going to kind of play to the limit, take camps, push for turret damage, and ultimately Gen.G now finally are going to stack to the bottom side and play for this dragon.
Well, now Alphari is making the rotation down. He's now going to be in the mid lane. Of course, Rascal does have the TP. He's going to go back to base, and the fight starts.
Big stun comes across. Ulti across means they're safe as well. Jensen will he find the stun. Shock Blast going to miss. Ruler gets away. Nice play to dodge away from Alphari. 600 health. Smite not up yet for Santorin. 5 more seconds. They have to wait that one out.
Tactical is hitting it. Stop! Well, they get it anyways.
BDD got the smite.
Took one away. Okay. Second fight comes across. Tactical has a flash, has a cleanse, should be okay. Rocket jump across. No one's going to catch anything just yet. BDD wants it. Big damage, but they can't finalize the kill. So first dragon of the game goes Gen.G's way.
Most critical outplay there, the sidestep from Ruler. Again, Misfortune with the extra move speed. Does not get hit by the Syndra stun this time around, and it's a big win for Gen.G.
Continuing to push on, BDD utilizing his poke, and Gen.G trying to get as much as they can off the back of this play, as Rascal did have to invest the TP in that play, which means that Team Liquid will still have that advantage. But yeah, I have to echo what you were saying there, Kobe. I think that the sidestep from Ruler was really amazing. Like, really, really amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that he was able to navigate that in a situation such as that. I promise you now, all 3 of us on the caster desk got hit. That's what happened right there. We would have died.
I mean, we did set it up in Champs League. We're like, okay, so Misfortune with Strut and with Yuumi, it should be, you know, pretty easy to dodge a lot of these, but well executed there. Just a quick hover back. You know, and they also had the ward in this long brush by mid lane, so able to see the animations coming. Nevertheless, a lot of pressure relieved on the side of Gen.G, and picking up that first dragon goes a long way. Remember, they're the ones with the Yuumi on their side.
And the gold difference has been shrunk down to 900. It's a mirrored scoreboard from the last time we had this match, where TL had the small gold deficit, but we're getting the Dragons not as early as this game, not as early this time around, but Gen.G certainly going to be able to fight back from this deficit, almost certainly. Ruler has his Gale Force in, and he's now finally gotten the gold. It was at 1 stack when he walked out of the base. I gotta say, that always feels bad when you're like, I don't quite have that money, but he's gonna be all right. Team Liquid gonna group back towards mids. Alphari, sadly, with his gold lead, has not been able to push it any farther. He's actually now down CS to Rascal.
A lot of that coming off the back of Alphari joining the group, and Rascal actually stealing away topside jungle camps repeatedly, as BDD now crests level 11, the highest level in the game for the time being. And it's just a lot of posturing right now. Neither team wants to get too aggressive. There are a lot of objectives still up for both sides. You can see all these outer towers, and right now, both teams are kind of fishing for windows. They're looking for that cross-map play. If TL tried to do something on one side of the map, Gen.G want to try and answer, but right now, neither team is really looking for a huge 5v5.
And the main thing is that Gen.G have completely switched who has control of river. This river here, this is the highway in League of Legends. If you control the river, then you control the flow of every bottom side play. And so them moving in with Misfortune Yuumi, trying to get even the Q pokes from Yuumi, earning them these windows to go aggressive on. Team Liquid finally moves in. They take out some of the control wards down there, and wow, Rascal has his level lead and has turned the tables on Alphari.
Really nicely done. Yeah, 11 to 10. Just barely 11, but it's enough to be in the advantage. And it's Alphari last hitting under turret. Despite all the help he got, despite the turret plates cashed in, Rascal, a really good comeback from a pretty rough look in the early laning phase. Jensen, I believe, missed cannon. Unlucky there. As we get the wave pushing in mid and Jensen can move down. The highway has switched hands. It does temporarily belong to Team Liquid. Okay, both mid laners can't miss cannons. All is good in the world.
A lot of pings right now going down towards the Herald. It is Rascal that has started this one off. Alphari is going to go back to base, spend his money, and likely TP back in. But that will only occur if Team Liquid want to fight, and for now it looks like that they do not. But this Herald is pretty important for Gen.G because it can actually give them access to breaking open the map a little bit more. They haven't been able to secure a single tower just yet. There is a lot of standing gold still for both teams to acquire, and Gen.G is saying, you know what, we have our eyes on the top side of the map. Let's sacrifice bot, and let's see if we can push this all the way into the tier 2, because again, you know that once you have the Herald, you will have that tempo advantage. So even if TL get a tower on the bot side, Gen.G is going to get a lot more on the top.
Exactly, and Gen.G, once you start knocking down these outer turrets, you open up for the BDD show. Zoe roaming around from mid lane. They've invested so many wards to give him avenues to look for these picks. He already had completed his Luden's Echo. Team Liquid were respecting it. They don't want to move in. They don't want to contest any of this because those things land. They are a death sentence at this point in the game. So much threat behind the poke there from Gen.G. They run that Rift Herald all the way through. Secondary tower goes down. Local gold acquired. And that is a big boon.
The timing here is interesting. So obviously top lane tier 2 was killed. It is Gen.G up a turret, but as the recalls come in, they can't really get on Dragon the moment it spawns. If TL wanted to stay on the map instead of taking Tactical's recall just to get Berserker's Greaves, they could have taken Dragon on the spawn. TL obviously saying that it's not that important to do so. They may think with the vision control, it's theirs anyway, and they're gonna start this one up on spawn.
See if BDD can get there in time, because if they don't have BDD poke, then Team Liquid should be able to force this.
Walking through his jungle, but yeah, that is a lot of damage done early. Alphari bursts it, and it is TL tying up the Dragons. Gold is tied. Dragons are tied. Kills, 1 apart. Turret kills, same number. Clid should be safe to walk down. Rascal, almost a target, but TL not quite going to go for the play.
Well, they have 5 members hovering around bot right now. This is a bit awkward for Team Liquid because it's going to give Gen.G access into the mid wave. They will be able to push this out, and then they can even rotate up towards top. They can start threatening that as well if they want.
Stun onto the Zoe, not gonna matter. Here comes bullet time over the sleep, and Jensen, the flash, does not get him to safety. Gen.G would love to keep fighting. It's a 5v4 if they can bring Rascal in. CoreJJ gonna jump the wall. A huge pick from BDD and Ruler. And now they gotta block this. They gotta keep Santorin alive. He may still die, he'll flash to safety. Just barely getting back, but Gen.G now up 800 gold.
I told you, they're gonna flip the channel to the BDD show. The BDD show keeps on rolling.
Alphari forced to flash away as well. A nice ult from Clid. Gen.G have control of this game.
For those of you not aware, by the way, when you fall asleep, Misfortune's ultimate is coded as damage over time, so you don't wake up.
This guy is just landing headshot after headshot with these bubbles, and he is putting Team Liquid to sleep right now. They're going to lose their bot tower. They're going to lose their mid tier 1 as well. And a lot of this started when we were talking about TL being in this awkward position in the bot side where they commit 5 members. Because Ruler and BDD were still hovering in mid and had prio, Jensen took the greedy path back into mid lane by walking straight through the wave, and he ends up getting picked off. And after that, it is just pick after pick after pick for Gen.G. They find themselves now with a 3K gold lead.
All right, our Axe Effect replay. Kobe, let's walk through it again.
Yeah, once you go to sleep, you don't wake up from the damage of Misfortune ultimate, so he can channel it and just wait for everyone to get close. Instant execute there. Good job. Life's ultimate, last tick, actually gets him after the flash over. But then BD doesn't stop. Again, Zoe Savant over here has so many games on this champion, finds the bubble through the wall. Then even this one, he doesn't give up on the play, throws it out. There's literally zero cost to throwing that. But this man is just too good. Finds it
and he does
dead on. Doesn't miss.
Look, he's going to do it again. He's like, yeah, I think...
Yes, I know he does it again, but he...
You know what's actually horrible about that play? It is faster to walk to the fountain than recall from the steps. A misplay became a misplay in Tactical's choice. Yeah, 2 things wrong with that play, and just didn't see it coming. BDD, props to him, huge player in this game.
Exactly. That's why when we talk about BDD, we always talk about his champions. The Azir, the Zoe, these types of things coming through in such big situations, so clutch. Already his Zoe got them the giant win versus LNG, multiple solo kills, and now it looks like it's setting themselves up for success versus Team Liquid as well.
All right, a 3,000 gold lead to work back. That's Team Liquid's task. Gen.G hoping to make it 4 out of 4 LCK teams in the quarterfinals. So rarely do they lose in groups. The closest they've been in a while. Yeah, sure, Gen.G fell in 2018, but remedying that mistake here as they look to take Team Liquid to task. Aggressive ward doesn't get a whole lot done, and back they go to map control.
Okay, so the next steps for Gen.G are actually quite fun. You get to ward up behind Baron, move your, actually only a minute and a half left on Dragon. Probably don't want to spend your resources there, so they'll actually just wait the extra 30 seconds, go back, get their control wards, and then you set it up for, again, the BDD show around the corridors here leading up to Dragon. Get some wards for him, spot him. All he needs is a little bit of information. He doesn't even need perfect information. It seems to be able to land a lot of these picks. And it's so difficult for Team Liquid because every member, if you get hit, you fall asleep, you're such a squishy target, you're going to get collapsed on.
And you can see how well Gen.G are playing around Vision as well. And so, well, this entire game has come off the back of Gen.G. The fact that he has constantly had prio in the mid lane. He answered the Syndra with a signature pick, something that he really showcased at the beginning of the group stage with his performance against Icon. He is such a talented Zoe player, and with his prio, they've just been playing very well around these side lanes. They secure the tier 2 bot, they secure the tier 2 in mid, and TL, they are bleeding resources right now. They need to think about ways back into this game because with the Drake now spawning, they're going to have no real way to actually contest this unless they want to try a TP flank onto one of those control walls.
But it's Gen.G playing on the edge. They saw Tactical still pushing out the top lane. They know it's a 5v4. There's no way TL can pull the trigger. So, okay, we'll play in front of you. Take the Cinderstone. We don't care. We see Rell on screen. That's fine. You're not going to take the fight. Knock down mid lane outer. Knock down mid lane tier 2. Threaten, credibly, the Baron, and grab the Dragon, no problem, with Rascal in the top lane.
And you can see as well, the Gen.G, they just allow Rascal to solo the Drake because they're so paranoid about the potential of the Baron. So Gen.G are covering for every possibility right now. They have 2 great control wards just sitting in the enemy jungle here on the bot side of the map, and they are pinging them out as potential options to make plays. But ultimately, Gen.G just control absolutely everything. And it's crazy how quickly they were able to build this off of a single decision-making error from Team Liquid, and that commitment to the bot side of the map, Gen.G were able to punish so effectively.
Team Liquid have to get to the objective first. You cannot afford to walk into the fog of war. They're trying to do it here, but some good vision checking tools from Gen.G. Yuumi Q into Jarvan flag just to make sure they don't give an opening to Team Liquid. But that's Team Liquid's only hope. Get there first, hope that you can pounce on them from the fog of war.
I'm always so impressed by the spider senses that you often see on pro players. I would have face checked that brush. I would have died, but that's also why I'm not a pro. They've caught
Possibility,
plays.
stun, play in. They're going to look for the kills. Misfortune over the top. Stopwatch burned. Can they kill Clid? 1 for 1 is the end of the play as TL pull the trigger and don't get a whole hell of a lot done. A slow there on a Santorin, flash to safety, a stun to buy some time, but we have seen BDD clean these kills up before and he may do it again. Bubble off to the side, not going to find a target just yet. Santorin still on the run as Ruler wants to get him, but not going to find his mark.
There you go, striking from the Fog of War is the opportunity, but Stopwatch buys enough time for Gen.G and the rest of them to get there. Actually kind of lucky for Team Liquid that BDD doesn't land the follow-up bubbles on the way out, because that easily could have been another pick for Gen.G. You see with the move speed of Misfortune Yuumi, they keep up on these chases after the play as well.
I will say that also when you're in a losing position, being able to find picks like this, in my opinion, is worth, because you're always getting a little bit of gold back. You're forcing the opposition to invest a lot as well. And you'll notice that Gen.G invested their teleport here as well. Alphari was already here on the play. But the positioning from Ruler is really what allows them to be able to get a kill back in the first place. Such a perfect choke point for Misfortune Ultimate to just tear the team apart. And after Team Liquid invested so many resources into getting that kill, the best they could do was disengage. So while Santorin does lose his flash, they get the TP out from Rascal. Let's see now. Look, you can see him in the bot lane. This could be a great opportunity for TL to try and force something, knowing that they should have a numbers advantage.
Tequilus top laner, other side of the map. Yes, indeed. 5v4 is the possibility. BDD still playing up on the edge. Has a flash, though. Not an easy target. And just going to work his way up. Make Santorin sweat for his chance to go for Krugs. A 1-level lead for Rascal. This is the man who was so heavily attacked. Team Liquid got so much onto Alphari. They got him a tower dive kill. They got him the first turret. All the plays with the Herald. But Alphari has been grouping to help his team get back into the game. And as a result, they're getting behind in golden XP.
Muramana transformation feels nice for us.
He just knows.
But Santorin could chase this one in. That's a stun, that's a follow through the first flash. The jump back, but they will kill him. That is TL back on the board.
And the shutdown goes to Tactical, the Tristana, the main scaler here for Team Liquid. That is a much needed bounty.
So it would be, I'd really love to see TL just like force a Baron right now. If nothing else, they don't have to commit to the fight. It's just to get Gen.G to burn a couple resources, get them to sweat a little bit, because when you're at this kind of deficit, yes, it's great to get a pick, but you need to convert that pick into something.
I would say don't get too greedy, but at least take the mini objective of getting your vision back around the Baron. maybe
I've been casting Mad Lions too long, but they're just like, oh, we got a pick. Baron it is.
I will take the objective of all these wards cleared out so that BDD doesn't have a shooting ground to go for, but this flash not going to be there for Zoe now, so it is a point that you can try and put some threat back on there for the side of Team Liquid.
We can see Ruler is the rich one. Alphari, yes, he is still up in gold, just he was up more is all I'm saying from the early game, as Rascal has done a really good job for being the target so often. He's the farm leader of his team, and, you know, second place in gold on his team as a result. Even BDD has less than him because 30 CS is quite a lot. Alphari looking for his next play top side. Good shock blast.
He invested in both shield cutting as well as Grievous Wounds.
Oh, he's flashing for this.
Big damage on a Rascal. Of course, the shield bow cut in half, but Alphari gets solo killed. TL, can they catch up? Will Rascal fall? They'd love to find it, but the slow's not going to land. Redemption gets thrust the way in, and Rascal gets the solo kill against Alphari, gets away, and BDD would like a little bit more. Are there enough reinforcements? 4v3 looks pretty good, as Clid going to come right back out. Santorin has very little places to go. Ruler's on the push in. He's going to get stunned out of the ulti, but Santorin is going to be the sacrificial lamb. 2-0. Gen.G are cutting Team Liquid out of the tournament.
Rascal with a massive outplay onto Alphari. He was feeling himself. He felt like he could get that kill, but Rascal with a beautiful sidestep into ult, into burst combo means that Santorin is also going to lose his life, and now Gen.G are threatening the Baron.
Jensen needs a miracle. Kiwi has to steal Baron somehow. That seems so unlikely. At 2K, is it a possibility? They get it lower and lower, and the miracle happens. I've seen a Jensen team steal a Baron before, but a kill is traded back as CoreJJ falls.
That's gonna be the miracle they needed, Freak. It's a Baron stop for Team Liquid, buying them some time. Gen.G, they won't waste any time though. Rotate down to Dragon, pick up Dragon number 3, well on their way to Mountain Soul, but Team Liquid are holding on by threads of hope.
Get your tissue out, wipe that brow, Kobe. Things are definitely still looking pretty good for Team Liquid. Of course, they still find themselves now at a deficit. Gen.G are able to get the dragon, but let's have a look back at this. So Rascal, very low on health. Alphari holding on to his E for the shield to end, but then look at this, ult into flash. Rascal just plays that so well.
Also, the positioning on the wall there, the second part of the Q did hit just barely to get the explosion.
Yeah,
to replay number 2.
Yeah.
I've seen this one before. The follow-up then after the commitment of both teams to topside, of course, led to this scenario, but we'll take a look at every piece of damage hitting this Baron leading up to it. You notice that Tactical even puts his explosive charge on it and gets some autos in. He walks around here through BDD, past Ruler as
they're so afraid.
They're both autoing it. They're waiting for CoreJJ to all in.
I'm really surprised that Gen.G didn't just walk up and like kill Tactical. They had the numbers advantage. They could have turned it, but no, they go for the flip, and they end up losing the Baron as a result. Now Team Liquid, they're on the siege.
Okay, 1,500 gold. Baron power play, Red Bull Baron power play. The required name the first time around is mid lane outer turret will fall, and it keeps it equal in gold, because keep in mind CoreJJ's death was part of that one, so it started at 1K. I know that was a silly call, but hey.
Great sellout, freak!
I'm just saying, this is how this works, all right?
Oh, he's gonna teleport out of this one, so they get another cooldown here. Team Liquid, the squad roaming the rift here, trying to get as much as they can out of this Baron, because they are leveling up Tactical here. The Tristana slowly getting more and more range, closing in on that level 16. Jensen already acquired the level 16, so huge burst damage behind this Syndra. And it's moments like this. Tiebreaker scenario in group stage at World, fighting for your lives here. So much pressure mounting on stage that composure trumps everything. You make one mistake in positioning, you get hit with
Tactical.
one stun.
He has no vision. He's gonna have to flash this. Does not get knocked up, but has nowhere else to go. And Ruler finds the kill. You rocket jump onto a ward. Why?
He doesn't check the brush. He doesn't realize that he's on top of vision, and he realizes too late that he's somewhere that he is not supposed to be. Clid failed the EQ flash, but losing the AD carry is massive for Gen.G. They have their eyes set on breaking the base. 4 versus 5.
30 seconds. Mid-wave will fall. Pretty good AoE, of course, by Alphari, but top lane turret likely to die. Jensen not going to get Ruler just yet. And TL, of course, must realize this is a 4v5. Yes, Graves could move.
Yeah, they're focusing on trying to clear the minion wave while they buy time for Tactical. They have to do one more wave before he gets back.
Okay, top turret dangerously low. Santorin slowed up. Will survive, but the turret will not. That is the expected result of that kill. Top lane inhibitor turret is down. 4,000 gold lead and 2 minutes away from Mountain Soul.
You guys were just literally talking about it. Positioning, these crucial decisions can literally swing games.
And again, Vedius, when we are 1 minute and 50 seconds away from Dragon Soul, it's going to be difficult to get good positioning for this squad leading up to it. Yep. So much priority there for Gen.G, so that's #1 goal. CoreJJ doesn't want to let any sort of funky stuff happen on top side to Tactical once again, so he comes over to screen for him, but the resets have to start coming in a minute and a half ahead of the Soul fight. They do have pre-existing control wards in their defensive opening into the river here. So you see those two, they're just barely on the right of your screen there, allowing them an avenue to go place the further ones to make sure they don't get hit with that death sentence bubble.
Here we go. Minute and 8 seconds. TL have taken the recall out of top lane. Clid will have to walk down soon. Gets the top crab. It's a bit more golden XP. Pretty useful. Stopwatches down for virtually everyone. There is one for Alphari. And as far as I can see, that is it. So if damage is sent in, damage will stick. Again, grievous wounds in for Alphari makes that reasonable against the Summoner Heal Life Yuumi.
Both teams setting up traps in different places on the map right now. Clid is going to go back to base just before the Drake spawns. Gen.G will have the prio in mid, which Jensen can catch because he has the teleport. Team Liquid have actually gained control over the entire bot side. They have this deep control ward right here on the backside to allow for a potential TP flank. They also have control up here as well. So in terms of being able to contest this, they're in a great spot, and now they're looking for a pick.
This is almost rocket jump full. It would be such a danger. Of course, you can flag and drag out, but it doesn't mean the ward is killed. So that is one piece of information not gained. Rascal still clearing mid. We know Jensen can TP, level 17. Seraphs and Banshees done.
Here comes the TP now from Jensen, level 17. Will be joining the rest of his team, and the fight for the Dragon Soul will begin.
What lands first, the bubble or the stun? Each team fishing around for the picks. Smite fight inevitable, and the Q does so much.
It's going to push back, 3k health. Santorin's got to be careful, has an ult to stay alive, but now it's going to be Ruler zoning him out, and this is a guaranteed. That's Dragon Soul, nearly a kill on the CoreJJ as well. TL could not find their way in. Tactical trades blows with BDD, but BDD does more damage.
Any long standoff is so favored for Gen.G. They've got healing with Yuumi, they've got relentless poke with the Yuumi. BDD finds them, he earns the objective without bloodshed. It's going to be 2 recalls there for Team Liquid and Baron for Gen.G.
Team Liquid play for the bot lane brush instead of playing for the actual river itself. Gen.G walks all the way in and claims the team fight. They claim the dragon, and after the damage is dealt, the Baron is a guarantee. Gen.G on their way to the quarterfinals of a 5,000 gold lead and a Baron buff.
Team Liquid will have to find a pretty crazy fight to turn this game around. I feel like a lot of the pressure falls onto the shoulders of Jensen. With this Syndra, he has a lot of playmaking potential. The ability to find a stun when the enemy is sieging, the ability to catch someone out does exist, and the follow-up is right there for Team Liquid. It's simply a matter of can they do it. With the Mountain Soul, his burst becomes weaker, and without having the death cap just yet, his ability to one-shot is that much weaker as well.
Stopwatches on both Gen.G carries. Ruler and BDD have the extra safety. Not only do they have all their summoner spells, but the stopwatches in inventory. Shield bow for the side of Rascal. He's level 18 already. Pushing out mid lane. Teleport ready to collapse.
Push comes in. Still 2 minutes left on this buff. Stun's gonna land, but it will not kill Clid. He's simply too tanky.
Yuumi back to full.
The rest of this push, yes indeed, he's a healthy man. Thank you, supports. Turret is down. Ruler just free fires. No one willing to stop him, no one able to. Rocket jump away, gonna keep the Tristana alive. As low on BDD does not matter, he's got a shield anyway. Down goes another, well, the first inhibitor, but probably soon many to follow. The push forward, a flash out for tactical. Ruler unstopped, ult comes across. A quick Zonia's, a stopwatch for Alphari. Stun for CoreJJ, stun for the mid laner. Will there be an execution? Clid comes in, Clid will not fall. Malphite doing his best, and will it be a kill? Yes, but 2 were already traded back. It is a 4v3. Baron still on for Gen.G to end the game.
Yeah, they're gonna collect the mid inhibitor. BDD will teleport right back, and they're going for the Nexus turrets.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. Team Liquid get 3 wins in group, and only Cloud9 make it out. Gen.G and Team Liquid and Gen.G make it 4 out of 4 for the LCK in quarterfinals.
BDD on his champions has got to be respected, making another team feel the pain of the Zoe.
A heartbreaking loss, of course, for Team Liquid. They really did level up here in week 2. Something that we've seen from all North American representatives, the stepping up. But unfortunately, in the final game, in their final opportunity, they could not quite close it out, and it was a close game until it wasn't. BDD on his Zoe, as you rightly said, pick after pick after pick, and Gen.G were able to shut them down.
The Yuumi pick that so many LCK teams have used here and the group stages, and everybody's trying to catch up.
Yep.
As far as the meta, they came out with it game 1, Dom 1 versus FPX. Still good here. The Yuumi plus the Zoe. You're never going to win those wars of attrition. You're never going to win any sort of standoff or poke game. Heal's too strong, poke too strong. Gen.G. Now they fight for first position in the group in the tiebreaker versus the winner of our next game.
They eagerly await who it's going to be. So, only one LCS team has made it. 4 from the LCK have, and now we'll see if it's another LPL or LEC team to make it with that win. Gen.G have advanced to the quarterfinals, and we will see who joins them up next. Don't go anywhere.
welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk, where it's heartbreak for North American fans and Team Liquid alike as they fall just short here in this final tiebreaker match to snag a spot in the quarterfinals. And then, of course, by proxy, Gen.G booking their own ticket to the quarters to be the 4th LCK team to do so here at Worlds.
Yeah, it was good performance by Gen.G overall. Yeah, heartbreak for TL. I think they played pretty well today, actually. This group was just so tight. It was a game of inches. I have to say hats off to Jensen. He played fantastic today. Almost solo carried them through to a quarterfinal stage.
Yeah, I mean, Jensen was absolutely incredible today. I just think, you know, at the end of the day, it's far too many individual errors, you know, from TL in this game. You know, mental errors, whatever you want to call them, unforced errors. There was a lot of little mistakes that were punished very, very heavily by Gen.G.
Well, we call out Jensen. It's no surprise when it comes to draft that the Syndra gets picked up and prioritized for him in that second phase of picks because he was such a star performer on it earlier in the day. He even managed to have a Baron steal in this one, which we'll take a look at, of course, because it was a high moment. But I know that at least we were left with some questions around the Jayce pickup in the top lane. Well, yes, it got ahead. The casters themselves talking about, was this the Malphite angle? You know, was there something else that that could have been done here by Team Liquid?
Definitely a Malphite angle. If we could bring back the draft. I know, okay, we're just going to go straight into it. But
yeah,
it could have been a Malphite angle just because of their comp, right? Graves, Jarvan, MF, 2-3 kind of immobile-ish champions with very bad target killing damage. Only AP is poke. Could have been a Malphite angle. However, they chose to go for the Jayce, which is Alphari's most comfortable and his strongest champ, and they played topside. Credit to TL, they played fantastic around topside. They get the early dive off, they get Rift Herald, they Herald top for Alphari, and by the time this play finishes, Alphari is 2,000 gold ahead, so they set themselves up for success. I think both drafts are actually pretty good.
I think the other thing you have to remember is the other side of this is Ruler's getting ahead because we saw CoreJJ roaming constantly. And often we're seeing Tactical have to actually give up waves, have to back off the tower because there's cross-map pressure. So yes, they got an enormous lead for Alphari, but he didn't do anything with it the whole game, right? You know, they got him 2,000 gold ahead. His only actual 1v1 fight was him getting solo killed by Rascal. So, you know, at the end of the day, he just wasn't really able to make good on the advantage that TL was able to gain for him.
Yeah, playing towards Alphari in the top lane was Team Liquid this time around. We already talked a little bit about Jensen's performances throughout the course of the day and being such a star performer for Team Liquid. But that brings me to the next point, which is BDD on the Zoe in this game. When they needed him most to step up, he was absolutely incredible.
I have to say, not just this game, but throughout the whole tournament, I think BDD has been a consistent factor. If you take away the humanoid game where he dives in by accident, I think BDD has been solo killing Icon up against LNG, up against TL here. He just kind of clutched the game out. The game is, yes, in a winning state for Gen.G, but I think these plays kind of solidified their lead, right? Just look at it from his vision, how many kills he gets here.
I mean, he makes the sleep look like it's point and click, right? Like he just wasn't missing any of them. And insult to injury, I mean, back-to-back lazy recalls, getting the kills on them, Santorin recalling on the tower, knowing even if it wasn't the sleep, it could have been a portal jump over the wall to kill him. Same thing happens to Tactical in mid lane later on. You know, just lazy recalls, mental errors from TL that BDD is way too damn good to make those errors against and think you're going to get away.
I mean, I think that's the thing, right? These high-pressure moments, it's an elimination game. You may not have even expected to have been here at this point in the day. And so, yeah, not respecting the Zoe pick, right? It's not something you had come up against yet here on this day. And so a couple lazy recalls means easy deaths for BDD. But this was another highlight moment for Jensen.
Yeah, Jensen steals the Baron here. Before we move on, I just want to highlight how cool it was to see that pro view. BDD in between right clicks is pressing escape, scrolling through his settings while moving around. Those are just kind of the things that people do. They press
he's adjusting his mouse sensitivity for each kill.
Oh, is he?
That's
okay, yeah.
is,
no,
you know?
Loads of players do this. You know, I used to just smash cap locks all the time while I was clearing my camps. People press Z, he was pressing escape. Huge steal by Jensen to keep TL in the game, right? That just stalled the game down and slowed it down for Liquid, which is exactly what they needed. That Baron going, that's lights out, game over. So Jensen, we've already highlighted him. He did a fantastic job today trying to keep Team Liquid alive. But on the other side of the rift, BDD showed up massive.
Heartbroken for all of Team Liquid, but Jensen in particular is a guy who's been to this stage numerous times and has fallen short a number of them. But with their win, we've got Gen.G booking a ticket to the quarterfinals and buying themselves another matchup against the winner of our next tiebreaker between Mad and LNG, looking to play for that first seed. So LNG, let's talk about it real quick. They had side selection. They choose red. that first or that game that forced the tiebreaker to begin with, we already kind of talked about. There's not much to take away from it at all. So CoreJJ, what are your thoughts ahead of this one?
Okay, so first of all, I'll say when Mad Lions beat LNG earlier on the day, they were red side. So now LNG has chosen red side for a few reasons. I think the first one is to get that man on your screen counterpicked. Maybe they want to look for a counterpick onto Armut with Ale, get a good match up top. I think that what's Mad Lions had good going for them on red side is you can early rotate power picks. If you trade off like 3 OPs, they get 1, you get 2. So on blue side, they need to be careful. Do they want to prioritize TF? Do they want to prioritize things like Lee Sin in the jungle, or do you want to prioritize MF for AD carry and play more for bot side? They need to have a clear win condition coming into this draft and be decisive on their first pick.
Do you think Matt can do it? TL fall just short. This is the last chance for Europe and the final shot for the West to get another team into the quarterfinals.
They can absolutely do it. I mean, they just slammed LNG, so I think that's going to be weighing on their minds a little bit. And I think as long as Mad play their game, get a strong draft, I think they're in a good spot.
Look, it's the most important best of one of their lives right now, right? So just pick anything, any comfort. You know, sometimes when you're on stage and a player really feels the champion that they've never practiced, like, I really think it's good here, you just got to trust them. And if they have that, they should go for it.
Well, they've got the momentum. They're in high spirits. We'll see if they can get it done. But to hear more about their qualification into the quarterfinals, Lore is standing by with BDD.
Thank you very much, Dash. And BDD, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a very long day for you and for all the teams. You faced Team Liquid twice. It was the 3rd game against them. Tell me about this adaptation during this game and how you managed to get the win.
네, BDD 선수 오늘 정말 긴 하루를 보내고 계십니다. 벌써 TL을 3번째로 상대하셨는데 오늘 경기 플레이하면서 어떤 식으로 적응하면서 변화해 나가셨나요?
네, 일단은 컨디션 관리를 좀 실패한 것 같고 경기가 되게 길어져가지고 다음 판 또 한 판이 남았는데 잘 잡고 준비해야 할 것 같아요.
I think we kind of failed in terms of our conditions. We have to stay really well, but I don't think we were feeling super at our best. So we have one more game to go. So I think we really have to take care of ourselves.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that, but still you qualify with this victory. You're the 4th LCK seed to qualify on the quarterfinals. What do you think of your development throughout the group stage, but also how strong is the LCK right now?
네, 그래도 이제 4번째로 이제 LCK 팀으로서 지금 8강 진출을 확정 지으셨는데 LCK 팀들의 LCK 지역 자체의 강세에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시는지, 그리고 이번 그룹 스테이지 진행하시면서 어떤 식으로 계속 발전해 나가셨나요?
일단은 경기를 보면은 T1과 담원이 모든 팀 통틀어서 제일 잘하는 것 같고요. 그 팀 경기 보면서 많이 배우를 했었고 저희는 저희 부족한 점 항상 피드백하면서 고쳐 나가고 있는 것 같습니다.
So I think Damwon, Kia, and T1 are the 2 best teams among every other teams. So we tried our best to learn from them, and I think we are always going through our mistakes and issues.
Well, and thinking about the Damwon, Kia, and T1, and also Hanwha, they're potential opponents right now in the quarterfinals. So when you think of all the teams we have waiting for you, even though we don't have the seeding, what are your thoughts on quarterfinals and the teams you may face there?
네, 말씀하신 두 팀이나 하나생명 또 이제 더 다른 지금 8강에 상대일 수 있는 여러 팀들이 있는데 대체적으로 어떻게 지금 예상하고 계신가요?
네, 일단 담원기아가 약간 특출나게 좀 잘하는 거지 하나도 잘하는 팀이라고 생각을 하거든요. 그래서 지금은 1등, 2등 어디로 가도 모든 상대가 다 힘들 거라고 생각하고 있습니다.
I mean, Damwon, Kia, they are stronger than other teams by far, but I also think that Hana Life is also very strong. So it doesn't matter where we are seeded, 1st or 2nd. I think everyone will be a tough opponent.
Tough opponents, but also a very cool series to look at. Now, focusing on the last game, we have Mad Lions facing off against LNG once again. Who do you think will win and why?
그러면 이제 마지막 경기는 매드 대 LNG 다음 경기가 이제 나올 예정인데 어떻게 예상하시는지 누가 더 이길 것 같나요?
원래 전에 경기도 사실은 LNG가 이길 거라고 생각을 했는데 뭔가 보면서 뱀픽에서 좀 꼬인 느낌이 되게 많이 들어가지고 이번 경기에서는 뱀픽을 약간 잘 하면은 예상을 하기 힘들 것 같아요.
I thought from the first place LNG would be the favorite, but I think their draft kind of fell apart. So I don't think where it's gonna land depending on their draft and everything.
Yeah, the day has been so crazy so far. We'll see for that last game, but for now, 감사합니다 for the interview. BDD, thank you so much for the translation, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be back for the 2nd tiebreaker of this series, LNG versus Mad Lions. Stay tuned.